Okay, let's skip the launch pad and go straight into docking. Anyway, today we're gonna be watching Seth Space Station 13 review. I saw a clown in this thumbnail. That's like kind of the reason I'm watching this one, so I'm excited to see where the clown is. Let's get started.
Hey people, Seth
Hey.
here. Today, I'll be covering a very niche, very infamous, and very autistic game that everyone's
Okay, autistic? Bro, like any of the other games you weren't covering were super autistic.
asked me to cover since day one. A game where you and many other real, living people with questionable social intelligence role-play together on the worst space station in the universe, where aliens, shapeshifters, and traitors working...
You know, it kind of looks like a cross between Overcooked and Factorio.
For rival corporations are the least of your concern, where the greatest threat to your own existence are your own crew members. Hungry?
Oh?
Come to the station canteen, where the food is definitely poisoned. Injured?
Clown!
Head on down to medical, where half a medication has been relabeled as happy pills.
Happy pills!
You can try taking a painkiller instead, but it wasn't a painkiller, it was LSD. Having a bad trip? Don't worry, there's a...
Wait, why does LSD kill the person? Also, is this girl like in underwear? Oh my god.
security officer nearby to help, but he can't respond because he was murdered and replaced by a genetically modified monkey wearing his uniform. Hallucinating? Keep calm and focus on what's real. Unfortunately for you, the supermassive black hole expanding towards you is not a hallucination.
Oh my
It is,
god.
in fact, very real.
The emergency shuttle has been called.
Welcome to Space Station 13. Space Station 13 has a
Space
very
wizards.
simple premise. Everyone has a job. Your objective? Do your best to delay the station's inevitable destruction, either at the hands of antagonists or at the hands of your own incompetent crew.
Clown.
Normally, I give a final score for a game at the end of a video. Not this time. Space Station 13.
Okay, so this is basically just a giant roleplay server. This is basically no different from like GTA roleplay, right? But actually, it's like a tiny bit different because what the freak is this layout? Oh my god. So you have like a little 2D square thing where you walk around, and then I guess can everybody chat in this chat room? It kind of reminds me of RuneScape a bit.
10 out of 10, amazing, spectacular, don't play it. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, Space Station 13 is a fantastic game, but I genuinely don't recommend you play it. Why? Because the engine it's running on is probably older than you, because the interface is a convoluted mess, and only usable because me and every other autistic chimpanzee who plays this game has committed the hotkeys.
Wait, Seth autistic confirmed? Also chimpanzee confirmed?
Muscle.
Wait, what the heck? Someone's saying like Allah. What the freak? Watch this infidel be beheaded in the mosque. Common genocidist? Is that like a what the freak? Is that like a genocide scientist?
Memory because of the insane time investment and commitment required for you to learn a single role, and because, to be perfectly honest, the servers can't handle all of you. At best, we could handle like 30 extra players before you grind the servers to a halt. For all these reasons, Space Station 13 always was and always...
Wait, okay, so if it's 30 players to a server, then that means there's multiple servers? Man, I wonder if there's like there must be like a cult following for this game. Also, this is so cute. I love this little anime face.
will be a niche title, and maybe that's for the best. But I can offer you something else. I've already killed your hopes and dreams of playing the game, so instead, let me share some stories of my wonderful experience with Space Station 13. These stories span several years and several different servers, the names of which will forever stay anonymous because I respect their privacy, and because I've received threats from some of the more colorful servers to not mention them by name.
Whoa, don't worry, I'll keep my mouth shut. My silence is golden. Smile.
Or else, what's gonna happen if I don't comply? Are they gonna hire a Bitcoin assassin to run me over with his mobility scooter? Is he gonna stab me with his insulin pen? I don't know. But
oh my god, is he... He's implying that they're really old. That's so funny. Also, this type of community reminds me of... I used to watch like this artifact section of Twitch.tv, and I joined one of their like Discord servers once. And let me just say, like, within 15 minutes of me joining, I saw 20 slurs, so.
You and me, I hate having cum delivered to my mailbox and
What?
would prefer to keep it that way. Anyway, I remember the first time playing Space Station very vividly. My friends told me to download it and hop on some shitty server. It had
Okay.
furries and erotic roleplay.
Yippee!
More on that later. I entered the round as an assistant. My job to give assistance and to get my hands burnt off trying to hack into places I don't.
Is that not weird to go on this game to have, like, you know, sexy time roleplay e-socks? Why not just, like, go on, I don't know, like, World of Warcraft like everyone else?
Don't have access to. As I'm screwing around with airlock wires, my friend comes running down the hallway, dragging someone's unconscious body.
Among
Frantically,
Us.
he tells me, Seth, quick, can you open this door? Sensing the urgency in his voice, I do. He throws the body inside and sprints away. The airlock closes. 3 seconds later, something explodes. What the fuck was that? I ask. Oh yeah, I fed him potassium and water pills. It takes a while to metabolize. My friend had just murdered a man in cold blood by turning his body into a living, ticking potassium bomb. As soon
Wait,
as
what? I didn't know potassium bombs were a thing. Okay, so he killed that guy, threw him in a room, and then he blew up.
the man's digestive juices cracked through the potassium tablet, it reacted violently with the water in his stomach and exploded, killing him from inside out. After such a horrific display of homicide, I realized, hey, this game's pretty good. Fast forward a few weeks and I'm learning roles, calling shots, and ignoring every single rule of the server. I also ignored...
Wait, does it matter if I eat a lot of bananas? Does that mean, like, I'm gonna explode? What the freak? What do you mean potassium reacts to water like that?
every single rule of medicine. I was a surgeon, top of my class, destined to go where no licensed professional ever has. Also, my friend's girlfriend started playing with us. To put it bluntly, she wasn't very good, but she was very interested in progressing the medical field in any way possible. Cargo had just delivered us some complimentary pizza, as thanks for patching up their boys after they got a little too intimate with the xenomorphs on mining station. Brilliance flashed before my eyes. My pupils widened. I started physically sweating because she said the words I've always dreamt of hearing. Please turn me into a pizza. And so I got to work. Nurse, get me my scalpel, tweezers, protractor.
Dude, that's so intimate. This is his friend's girlfriend, and she told him she wants to be turned into a pizza. There's some sus stuff going on in that relationship.
Bone gel, and the rest of the unfinished pizza. One horrified clown watched in the operating theater as I cleanly hacked off and cauterized her hands and feet. I opened the pizza box and began attaching her new cheesy limbs. Help! Sec to surgery, the clown blurted out. He's turning her into a Papa John, the head of medical store.
He's turning her into a Papa John!
Stormed in with a host of security officers to detain me, but they were too late. Her hands and feet had already been replaced. Surprisingly, she could walk just fine on a pair of pizza feet, but her lack of opposable pizza thumbs meant that she couldn't really hold anything, let alone pick them up in the first place. However, her pizza hands did make for a convenient and portable source of nutrition. Despite her numerous protests that she consented to the surgery, the head of medical demoted me on the spot and banned me.
What? No, but she consented to the surgery. She even asked for it, too. How are you gonna tell him he can't be a doctor anymore? She literally wanted it to happen.
From ever practicing medicine, claiming that you can't consent to being a pizza. I was thrown in jail for the rest.
Okay, maybe that's a fair argument. I agree with that.
Of a round. Clearly, there was no appreciation for the arts on this station. So many rounds later, me and my friends found a new purpose: cleaning up the server, one erotic furry roleplay at a time, using telecommunications and method.
What the freak, man? They're like yiffing and stuff in here.
Communications, I expertly pinpointed areas of high homosexual intent, namely the dorm rooms and the showers. As two Khajiit-looking catmen meet privately with one another, they will inevitably start writing words such as, "Ooh, Mayak has a barbed prickly surprise for you, my friend." And, yes, not me with your thick Tajaran trunk. This is completely unacceptable. Once an act of high homosexual intent is in motion, several of our men would mobilize.
Yeah, what the heck? If you can't be gay in this space station? What the freak are you supposed to do?
As they groan, moan, and spit out hairballs on each other, a security officer would barge in, flashbang the feline fornicators, and tag team baton them into submission before another officer handcuffs them to the bed. On the other side of a
Wait, handcuffs them to the bed? Whoa, maybe they're getting in on the action.
contaminated dorm room, our team's atmospheric technician sets explosive C4 charges against the station glass. Quickly, we evacuate the biohazard exclusion zone and seal the airlocks. Romeo and Juliet barely have enough time to recover from the
Wait, what? Why not just throw them out of the building? Why do you have to plant C4 and then wait for these doomed yaoi lovers?
flashbang before the charges detonate, depressurizing the room and sucking their bodies out into the black vacuum of space. Another job well done. Many explosive decompressions later, erotic roleplay was considered a real occupational hazard. The Tajaran Cat Boys got
Oh my god, is this an orgy?
creative, started doing group sessions instead. But
Group
these were
sessions,
quickly crushed by my friend playing the best roboticist I've ever seen in my life. The airlock doors to their sodomy chamber were welded shut.
I want to know where the clowns are. Also, why is there like a Warhammer guy here? What the freak?
To prevent interruptions, so he drilled right through them with a gigantic combat net. The air inside was heavy with a sickly sweet smell of wet fur balls and toxoplasmosis. The furries didn't even have time to react before he started unloading shell after shell of flashbang grenades, and thus we all got banned. We paid the price, but to see half a server get flashbanged unconscious for 10 minutes straight, priceless. The server didn't last long anyway. The admin's mom shut it down as soon as she saw the electricity bill. So
yeah, well, I feel like the admin's mom should have shut it down as soon as she saw the freaking furry orgies happening. Why are they like one and the same? Why is that like always associated furry plus orgy? Also, it's interesting in this game you can get little like cat ears and like the swimsuits in this game. Like that's so funny. One guy had like the giant one piece like swimsuit that only covers his junk and like maybe his nipples.
My friends went on to enrich other servers. I even got good at being a chemist. In other words, I always stole the syringe gun at the start of a round and filled it with lethal doses of chloral hydrate. For my own protection, of course. I also gave whatever chemical anyone requested, which gives me some moral ambiguity and 2 degrees of separation from any pranks or murders that took place as a result of said chemicals.
Wait,
if
what the heck?
asks for space lube,
so he was role-playing a chemist, and then they would go and ask them like, oh, can I have a syringe of like good stuff? And then he gives them a syringe full of deadly stuff.
he's gonna get space lube. One time, a clown managed to lube the entire hallway outside of medical, all the way to departures. Now, departures is usually the place where the escape shuttle docks to get us out of our quickly burning heap of a station. However, if there's no call for a shuttle, departures is completely empty, besides the airlock, which the clown had hacked open. Several people came running through medical, slipped on the space lube, and accelerated themselves face first into the infinite vacuum of space. Security figured out it was the clown, and in true security fashion,
London McDonald says, I have a feeder fetish, to be honest. Wait, what the heck?
also slipped on the space lube. With most of the crew floating around dead in space, the station had to be evacuated. He was later banned from playing clown ever again. Several rounds later, I finally spawned as a traitor.
Do you have brain damage? Dude, this guy is such a troll.
Decrypted. Welcome to the Syndicate.
And I had no idea
The Syndicate?
what I was doing, but I wanted my first time to be special. Conveniently, an assistant comes in, bleeding all over, because he was probably trying to break into the armory without insulated gloves. His character sprite had maximum melanin and an afro. His roleplay friendly name was Madick, an idiot, but a useful idiot. There were no medical staff on hand except
I love when people are like trolls. They also just lack creativity, so they just end up having like the stupidest names in the world, like not even creative at all. What if I named my character Penis? Ha 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 ha. It's so funny.
So I said, hey, I know a little bit of surgery. Let me fix you up. I put him under general anesthetic and took out my syndicate PDA. With this, I can discreetly teleport a few
Wait, is he gonna pizza this guy? Please make him into pizza.
traitor items into my inventory to help me achieve my objective, which in this case was murdering the head of security. I ordered 2 sets of voice-activated explosives, which trigger upon hearing the recorded code phrase. I set this to the word most likely to be spoken by this mentally retarded human being. Can you guess what that is? I surgically opened his ass and inserted the first of the explosives. Then I lodged the second one neatly inside his chest cavity, closing them up.
Oh my god. Wait, that's kind of genius to set it to a slur. Wait a second. Imagine if someone said a slur and then they exploded. I feel like if I saw that happen, I would never want to say slurs ever again. Not that I say slurs, but you know what I mean. It would definitely, leave an impact.
I took off the anesthetic and began to put my plan in action. I would arm this simple-minded moron with illegal weaponry, with the hopes that security would detain him on possession charges. I gave him all the LSD, all the chloral hydrate syringes, and an entire spray bottle of space lube. I had expertly equipped him to be the ultimate griefing machine. Proud of my work, I gave him a hug and set him loose on the world. But just before he left medical, he turned around and said, "Thanks, nigger." And we both exploded.
I don't understand why he why he didn't see that coming, man. That obviously was gonna be I would have gotten the medical team there first, or the head of security there first.
My other times playing antagonist went about just as well. Once I started as the leader of a cult. Our objective was to seize control of the station and sacrifice our mortal bodies to summon a physical manifestation of our dark.
What the heck is that? Oh, this game's sick, actually.
God. However, I wasn't very good at it, and neither were my servants. We found a nice, quiet, and most importantly, abandoned bar near the north end of the station, which we began redecorating with our own blood. You see, cultists need to learn a set of ancient words that's randomly generated every round. If you arrange them in
the ancient words is probably clown.
the right order, you can perform different spells and rituals to advance your goals. We didn't get far, because the most dangerous thing to an incompetent cult is a single crew member doing their job. The fucking janitor found us. We tried to negotiate, convince him that it's actually crayon and not blood all over the floor.
Imagine being a janitor and going into a room ready to clean, and you just find a bunch of blood spattered on the walls, and it's just a cult of people being like, "No, we promise it's crayon and ketchup. Leave."
But that didn't work, so we tried to murder him instead. That didn't work either. He used his mop to slip us with soapy water and ran off to call security. As you can see, I'm not very proficient at being a traitor. More often, I find myself being abused by traitors.
One janitor versus 5 cult members. Who will win? Apparently the janitor, because he can make this floor all slippery.
Of the worst offenders in this regard are definitely wizards, since wizards have a bad tendency to sexually abuse me as well. Not too long ago, me and my friends played a round that was already in progress. As soon as we entered, we realized something was very wrong. An announcement played on the radio. Penis Inspection Day is in effect. All crew members must report to Doc Johnson for their
penis? Oh my god. What kind of freakish server is this?
Mandatory penis inspection. Doc Johnson was
And how do I join?
very clearly a wizard. I knew what was coming, and yet I resigned myself to fate and went to medical reception. Doc Johnson was overjoyed to have new patients.
How fantastic.
He led me to a private room, asked me if I'm circumcised, and told me that I passed the inspection with flying colors. What a surprise, I thought. He's not actually gonna grief me. But I was wrong. As I turned away to leave, he blew off my ass magically. Hey, it's wizardry. I ain't gotta explain shit. Anyway, Doc Johnson is a terrible doctor. He left me bleeding on the floor as he took my ass cheeks and used them as a hat. Highly unprofessional. Would not.
What? How are you able to do that? This game is insane.
recommend. A round of Space Station 13 can be very intense. At other times, it can be very slow-paced and almost relaxing. If you're not a traitor and you don't have anything urgent to handle, you can always just roleplay and get comfy in a bar, while the piano plays anime songs and the jukebox plays whatever deep-fried ASMR bullshit people keep putting on. It's a very wholesome experience, and it helps
That's a good idea for my next ASMR video. Deep fried.
you get emotionally invested with the other members of your crew, which are often nice people. However, security is often staffed by egotistical megalomaniacs acting out their most depraved
What is a medalomaniac? I don't know that word.
power fantasies. They are often not nice people. As a result
my
of their
God, not the
inherent propensity
clown.
to be insane sociopaths, the rest of the crew will often rebel against their tyranny. In one such case, Cargo had declared independence. Security refused to recognize the independent state.
Cargo declaring independence is so funny. Also, shit security. Oh my god, they're freaking, what is it called? They're freaking rebelling.
State of Cargonia, so they try to barge their way in and arrest everyone involved,
Not all the
including
Coca-Cola
me. But
machines.
security was unprepared for the trap we had in store. One officer rushed into cargo bay and slipped on a banana peel straight into the conveyor belt waiting for him. He tried repeatedly to get back up, only to be tripped again by an ocean of banana peels on the conveyor belt, which looped around in a circle. Surrounding that circle was another circle, composed entirely of vending machines. The officer was also being brutally assaulted by several hundred cans of soda. The vending machines were hacked, and as a result, they would continuously fire drinks at whoever is in the area.
Oh
Each
my
officer
God.
that slipped into the banana belt got smashed unconscious by a relentless stream of Discount Dan soda. Trademark, all rights reserved.
Wow.
After extensive head trauma by our soda turrets, security reluctantly accepted Cargonia's independence and their
Yay! I can't believe Cargo won that battle. Also, I wonder who came up with that. That is so funny.
right
Genius.
to bear arms. If there's one department that has more revolutions than Cargo, it would have to be science, and it's easy to understand
Science?
why. We spend our lives researching away for the good of the station, which does of course carry its own share of risks and hazards. Sometimes accidents happen. Sooner or later,
my God.
some bored and mentally challenged assistant will try and put a bag of
No,
holding
don't kill yourself, Mr. Clown. You're so cute. He looks kind of like a furry too. I'm getting like little nose and like cat mouth vibes.
into another bag of holding, and security can't always comprehend that we're not directly responsible for the resulting black hole eating through the kitchen. This lack of appreciation for the scientific profession
What?
usually ends with arrest warrants for the whole department, which is usually answered back with the words, "I'd like to see you try." But when we're not having a nuclear arms race with security, R&D is actually quite a chill department. I also made a great discovery last time I played
What?
there. Me and another scientist were messing around with blueprints and eventually made ourselves a pneumatic cannon. Normally, these are used to launch whatever items you have inside. What we didn't know was that it could launch
What is a pneumatic cannon?
food as well. I loaded a lasagna, aimed for the mouth, and fired it at my fellow researcher. The lasagna disappeared. What the hell? That's amazing, he said.
That's
We
so
just realized
cool.
what happened. I had just managed to remotely force feed my fellow man. But what do we do with this forbidden knowledge? Nothing good, that's for sure. My comrade got to work asking chemistry for hallucinogens.
These games are so cool. Like, the more that he talks about this game, the more I'm realizing, like, whoever made this game just kept putting, like, junk in there, and there's no rhyme or reason. Like, if you just experiment enough and you try enough things out, you could just find out something new to do, like this. Like, there's no guide. I suppose there's no guide. It's like honestly, it's like information overload with all the things you could probably do in this game.
Drugs. They said no. So we built our own chemistry dispensers, filled up the beakers with happy juice, and ran straight to the kitchen. We injected all the donuts and hot pockets we could find with as much LSD and mind breaker
You know, that's actually so funny that in space they would have donuts and hot pockets.
toxin as they could hold. Then we loaded them into our food delivery system and started firing off at everyone in the hallways. The food was instantly delivered.
This is a shooting! The shooting being someone shooting food into your mouth and you die because it's poison. What a creative way to kill people, I guess.
Crew was instantly satisfied. Several people, including security officers, managed to see the 2 small lines of text indicating that they've just been fed something. They thought it was extremely clever and said they didn't know the pneumatic cannon could do that. Since it was just a bit of harmless fun, we got off scot-free. Minutes later, the hallucination started. Crew members started screaming on the radio. Some were puking, shaking, or convulsing on the ground. Medical couldn't keep up with the bodies. They piled on too quick, and most of the doctors were too busy fighting off non-existent entities to do anything about it. The chemist who originally refused to give us LSD was arrested by security on suspicion of intentional food poisoning. It was complete pandemonium, and I think it illustrates perfectly the chaos that is Space Station 13. That's all I have for you today, folks.
Holy crap! That was such a crazy creative way to just destroy that server. That's messed up. Not the clown and the Terminator.
There is, of course, more stories to tell, but we'd literally be here for hours. Space Station 13, a marvelous, unique, and incredibly shitty game. 10 out of 10, don't play it, because if you do, they're gonna blame it on me, and I hate having come in my mailbox.
So true.
As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. On other news, I started a Subscribe-Star account, so if you'd like to invest...
What is Subscribe-Star? Is that like OnlyFans for YouTubers?
and don't want to give your money to Patreon? Now you can. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful.
We love bankrollers. I'm so curious how he has all this art ready to go for his video. Maybe he streams or something? 2125. Okay. I was on a mind. Thank you so much for watching this epic react video. Let me know down in the comments below what you think and what other stuff you'd like me to watch by Seth. I really like his videos. They're so funny. I'll leave a playlist of all the other Seth videos on your right or on your left. And then you can subscribe on the right. I stream on twitch.tv/KmoneyClowny. I also have an ASMR channel. You want to check that out? Anyway, bye! Mwah.